Welcome to Yoga Teacher Journeys, your podcast for all things yoga and mindful living. I'm Claire.
And I'm Bianca, and we're two yoga teachers sharing the insights and wisdom we've picked up along our journey so far.
Whether you're thinking about teacher training or exploring yoga as a way of life, join us weekly for inspiring conversations.
Let's go on this journey together.
All right.
Welcome back again to episode number
Five.
Wow, I love that we've been so consistent with this. Can we just acknowledge?
Yes, we have. We have indeed. It's a great weekly catch up as well.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's nice that we have this little side hustle.
All about the side hustles, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this week we are talking about week 4 on the yoga teacher training, which involved practicums, it involved written exams, it involved earlier mornings, it involved a huge graduation celebration. There was a lot.
What a week it was.
What a week. I remember at the end of each day being like, what a day. What a day. What a day. And then it was just like, wow.
Exactly.
Wow. So yeah, all of a sudden we were week 4. And I remember that Sunday before, just like, guys, we've made it. We've made it to the last week. I think I remember we went for ice cream, coconut ice cream on the beach. It must have been the Saturday evening, maybe, of the end of the 3rd week. It was me, you, Gabby, and you guys came. Who else was there? Emily. There was a few of us, and I've got a picture of our coconut ice cream with sprinkles on it. And we're sat and we're just like so proud that we made it through week 3, because we knew that the following week, like, we had literally had a week left. And I remember this evening, and then that's when we ended up in the cake shop from there. Yeah.
Always back to the cake shop.
Oh, that cake shop. Guys, if you're at One Yoga and you're in Copenhagen, you need to go. What was it even called?
No idea. We just called it the cake shop.
It was just a vegan cake shop.
Yeah.
Remember, they did the most amazing coconut yogurt.
Yeah, they did. And also the soft chocolate cake. That was, yeah. But I know it was such a huge week and so much to be achieved in that week. It felt like a really big week. We were still on the first Monday or Tuesday, I think, between practicums, we still had also some lessons, some philosophy and some anatomy lessons, some revision lessons. And then obviously on the Thursday, there was also the written exams, and we had written exam for philosophy, for anatomy, and the art of teaching. So we were getting ready for those. We were getting ready to teach our own 1-hour class, the practicums. And I suppose, we were split into 2 groups for those because there was so many of us. But it was big days because we would be attending, there were at least 4 classes, 4 practicums a day happening, right?
Yeah, so we were starting half an hour earlier, I think it was. We started at 6.
I'm so confused now about the timing.
But
yeah, it was early.
We definitely started earlier because I had all this kerfuffle with moving accommodation, because I was like, God, if we have to be there earlier each day, I'm already having to kind of commute from up the road. So if I can move closer, it's going to really help because we're exhausted. So on that 3rd weekend, I thought it'd be a good idea to try and find some accommodation closer to One Yoga. So I moved into this bungalow, and oh my God, guys, it was like a prison cell. There was no aircon. I was like underneath someone's house. It's like a hobbit hole. Like I walked in there and I was like, what have I done? I can't stay here. I didn't sleep that whole night. And I remember coming in, I think it must have been on the Monday, coming in just like, I'm exhausted. And we've got this really important week. And I've stupidly decided to move accommodation. Like, I was like, what have you done, B? Why have you done this? So then I remember on that Monday in my lunch break, I was really busy trying to find somewhere else. And then luckily there was that place literally right down the bottom of the hill they had a room there. So I was able to then move there, and that was way nicer and so much closer. I felt like that was definitely the right thing to do. It felt amazing to be closer to you guys for that last week.
Absolutely. No, I can only imagine. It was
chaos.
Obviously my accommodation was on the campus, really close to the yoga shala and everything. And that was so helpful in that week because I saved so much time as well. Because it was literally just going from practicum to revision to lessons to revision lessons, then like again practicing for the sequence and things like that. So it was a lot going on. And so which day did you teach? I can't remember now. I think I was towards the beginning, actually, the first Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I think I must have been the Wednesday afternoon.
Yes, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday afternoon. Because the Monday there was no practicums, was it? It started on the Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah. And then obviously then Thursday we had exams as well. So it was kind of like I felt really awful for the people that had to do the exams before the practicum on the Friday. You kind of then wanted to get out of the way, didn't you?
Yes,
It was all that
on
like
the other.
there was a lot of energy. Like, can you remember how you felt before you taught?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely nervous. And there's so much to it, right? It's not just teaching a class, it's the combination of everything. We had to choose a theme, we had to build the class from all the different parts of the sequence. And so that involves, there was some meditation in there was some pranayama, you have your sun salutations, your standing, your twists, your seated sequences, your inversions, and then finally shavasana, all within an hour. And you have to pick a theme, you have to make it make sense. And you have to really be present. There's really, really so much to it. But I was so excited. And I felt very supported by everyone. I taught, what did I teach? I taught a fiery sort of vinyasa. So really creating fire in the belly. And it was all about bravery and self-confidence and linking it all back to us all being brave to be here and teach. So it was great. And I think for me, the best part of that whole moment was at the end when everyone else was in Shavasana and I was sat in meditation, and the energy in the room was so nice. And I just felt, yes, this is what I want to do. This is, I found my thing. And this is confirmed that I feel so at peace. I feel so present. I feel the energy so much here. It was that moment was so special for me. Yeah. How did it feel for you?
Yeah, for me, I just remember that I was like, I think I overthought the theme. And then I almost went like too deep. And then it was kind of, I just remember sitting there some days like, is this too much? Have I gone too deep? But then that's what I'm like. So then maybe I should. And I just remember having this battle with myself, like in the
Whilst
end,
you were teaching?
this was before.
Oh.
Yeah, before. And I remember we hadn't taught an hour long class before either. So we didn't really know timings. There was a lot of like,
timings was hard. Yeah.
And I think then obviously going on the Thursday or Wednesday, whenever I was, it was kind of you'd been to a few other practicums, so you could kind of pick up things from there. But also then it was like everyone was so amazing. It's like the pressure then is like, oh, and it's not about that comparison, but it's just like you almost you want to be able to teach and not freak out when you're at the front of the class, because imagine so easily you could go into like a freeze zone.
I know. And wait, this reminds me, remember at some point, I can't remember when it was, we did that exercise where we all had to go sit at the mat at the front of the classroom.
Oh yeah.
And be like, my name is Claire and I am here or something.
Yeah.
And we had to like make eye contact with everyone in the space. That was hard.
Yeah, my name is Bianca and I am here. And it was like that being present, that safe space for everyone. And it felt weird having all of those eyes looking at you.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Yeah. So I just remember before mine, it was kind of like I'd made this plan. I taught like a hatha, so more of like a slower holding the poses sort of thing, because every single pose that I did had like a bit of, there was a meaning behind every pose, as to like, it turned out to be kind of like a trauma healing sequence in the end, which I hadn't actually intended it for it to be. But all of the poses that I picked were based around healing, like energetically, emotionally, like removing blocks. And I just remember once I got into the flow, it just kind of came from the heart, and it didn't really go from it didn't go to plan. It wasn't what I'd planned. It kind of went in another direction, but you just got to kind of trust it, right? It kind of came out, and I got to the end and I was like, whoa, how did we get here? But I remember one of the girls in the class, she had a huge breakthrough in the class, and there was a lot of emotion, and it was actually really beautiful to be part of something where she felt safe enough to allow herself to feel those things. Yeah, so I think for my class, it was kind of like, I don't think I realized not my power, but like how the space that I created was obviously safe enough for someone to really be with themselves in that way. And it was just like, wow, that's so cool. That's such a gift. Like, to be able to facilitate a space that is so healing and so open and safe for people. Like,
It was truly amazing. I remember, obviously, I attended your practicum, and
oh yeah, we were in the
over
same group, which was nice.
sorry, we were
We
in
were
the same group. Yes.
group.
I think the overwhelming feeling after your practicum was, this is like a workshop.
Mhm.
No, it's not a 1 hour class. You could have very easily taken themes from everything you shared in that class and just make it into a week's workshop easily.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And I think that is your power, and combining the yoga and the trauma healing is
Yeah.
so powerful, and I can't wait to run retreats together. There we go.
Yeah, and it's just having that trauma lens. Like, for me, teaching yoga has been such a game changer with my coaching clients. Quite a lot of my coaching clients now, we do yoga as well. Like, it's beautiful. So yeah, trauma healing and coaching together, power combo right there. And I think that was my first taster of it actually coming together. And it was just like, wow, this is, yeah, I definitely need to go down this path. This feels right. So yeah, afterwards I was just like, it was amazing. I didn't teach again though while I was in Thailand. Do you remember? Yeah.
Yes. And maybe we can talk a little bit about just that feeling. So we had graduation, we had the exams and the graduation, that was wonderful. But I suppose people talk a lot about, what do you do straight after your training? You've done a month of yoga, done a month of sometimes 6 hours of yoga a day. And some people just felt like, I need a complete break from this. And I want my own practice, but I don't feel like teaching, or I do want to teach, or I don't want to talk about yoga for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you feel?
If I'm honest, quite lost.
Mm.
I remember after just being like, wow, well, like, that was such an intense month. And then you just kind of, okay, it's done. And I don't know where I'm at. I don't know who I am anymore. Like, it's a bit like that.
Yes. It's almost like, also, you've almost become this other person.
You've
And
grown so much, so many layers have been peeled back. I would recommend to anyone going on their yoga teacher training, just give yourself a few weeks or even a month or a couple of months after to let this integrate, because it's heavy. Like, and you have to shed some layers, and it takes time for that all to land properly. I think when I got home, my friend said to me the other day, she was like, B, I was really worried about you when you got home. You were fully like, you weren't here. You weren't grounded at all. Like, you were fully, like, it was a big spiritual awakening for me. Yeah. So I had to really, I felt like when I was in Koh Phangan, because I was there for so long, I felt so like I was just floating about. Didn't feel grounded at all.
mm,
So I was like, get me home for a Percy pig and a cup of tea.
I remember you saying that. So what are you looking forward to the most? A cup of tea.
I was literally, if I'm honest, I felt so lost and so like unsure of where and what and how, that I was like, I think I'm going to go home, get a 9 to 5 job. I want to do normal things. And I remember just seeking that like comfort and familiarity, because everything was so different.
I understand that. And I think a lot of people had that feeling as well, that they were like, how do I go home to my friends when I kind of see the world differently, or
Yeah.
I feel different, and are they going to understand me? Because a lot of the yoga philosophy and the practices and things is very foreign to a lot of people.
Mhm.
And I think when you start to try and explain it to them, it might be quite difficult for them to grasp some of the concepts or to get you. And we went so deep into it, and it felt so normal for us to have these conversations.
Like deeper than deep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we were re-questioning even like the meaning of life.
We were
type
looking
thing.
into like elements of existence and death, and we were talking about all of and it was kind of like, no one's going to get, who do I talk to about this stuff? And it's kind of like you have to almost come out the other side and take the bits that land for you, and have fun.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot.
Yeah. It's like your being, what's your consciousness, like
Yeah.
what is alive? Do you have to have a conscience? Like all of these things. It's like,
like you're everything and you're nothing, but if you just sit in a meditation and
you go into samadhi, and then happy days, off you go.
Bye.
It's like
it was a lot, but once my practicum was done, it was kind of like, wow, I can breathe a little bit. And then we had the written exams, and I remember going and sitting in Cookies coffee shop and doing some revision there as well. I found the philosophy exam probably the hardest. Just because of the Sanskrit names. I was probably the most interested. I loved philosophy, and you did as well, didn't you?
I did.
But there's so much, because you've got like the English and then Sanskrit and then the translation, which might be different to the English. And there was a lot to remember.
A lot to remember, but also as you go through the history of the philosophy, a lot of the similar themes come up. And depending on the era and which philosopher is, it's kind of the same, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
So the nuances, it's like, was it this one or was it that one? Obviously, the principles are similar, but it's quite hard. I think I did get to a point where it started to become a lot more clear in my mind.
Yeah.
But I do think like it was so much to assimilate that it was definitely challenging. It was the most challenging for sure.
Gosh, yeah. So that was a lot on the Thursday, wasn't it, to get all that done? And we all went into the canteen, not the canteen. What would you call that area?
It was kind of the canteen, yeah.
Canteen, but it wasn't canteen vibes. It was beautiful. I don't know, when I say canteen, I'm like imagining the school canteen. But so we all sat in there, had some nice aircon, I think, because it was so hot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we had 3 exams to do literally in this space. How long did we have? An hour and a half or something?
Yeah, an hour and a half or 2. I can't remember. Yeah, something like
and
that.
We had obviously all the teachers sitting in there with us, and they kind of marked them that day or the next day, was it?
It was pretty quick. Yes, they did mark fairly quickly, because obviously graduation was graduation was Friday.
My God.
Yeah, I love
so it was nice once we got the exams out of the way, then we could kind of relax. Well, we could, because we'd done our practicums, we'd done our exams. There were some people that still had their practicums on the Friday, but I think we only had
2 or 2.
Yeah, there were less. Then we had a bit of free time in the afternoon, and I was like, I need to go buy a new outfit for graduation. Went down to that little shop, bought a nice white like tie-up shirt and some white trousers, because graduation, they suggested wearing like pale clothing or white clothing.
Yes, everyone tends to be in white, which is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And they have all the beautiful flowers, decorations, and it was just so lovely. And obviously everyone went up to the teachers, you shake their hands and you take a picture all together. And then we all took group pictures and we flew the flowers. And
we did like another sharing circle as well, didn't we?
Oh, we did, yeah. I think it was all so special. I loved it. And then we all went for dinner.
At that place just down the road. Was that Hadrin?
No, I think it was the other opposite direction, but it was like a restaurant sort of on the beach, but also so different, because it almost felt like we were in that bubble. And then we went into this kind of more Western restaurant where most people ordered a pizza, and it was like this really long table, and it was like we were in this parallel universe.
Yeah, and it was like you're walking around like, this is so, it did feel very surreal, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we had a lovely meal with the teachers. What did we do after that? Did some of us go out?
We were all exhausted. I think we just went back.
Maybe we went back.
I think we went back because we stayed there quite late.
Yeah.
We all went back, and then the next day we were checking out.
Picked up, right? Weren't you the next day?
Yeah.
Which it's just mad.
Yes.
Yeah. And for me, I think I was staying in my accommodation maybe, I think I had another night or 2, because I had coaching clients. So again, anyone that's doing the One Yoga training course, I would recommend on that last week not having any work if you can take a week off. I gave myself that week off from clients, which felt good. But then I think the Sunday, so the last day was the Friday, wasn't it? Saturday you checked out. I think Sunday I had some clients. So it was like, yeah, it was challenging. I think even that week after I was having clients and I went to like a co-working space that I'd found. Yeah, it was a lot. And I didn't ride a scooter, so I was doing a lot of steps.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but in the heat, it was a bit much. It was a bit much.
And
No, I
obviously
get
me
that.
with my bad foot as well. There was a lot going on.
You
That was a
know,
lot because it's a big time.
it was a big time. You know what was so interesting? So it was the hottest month of the year, and we
Yeah.
were in that like 40-degree heat for a month. And then I remember the week after, I went to Koh Tao for a few days just to get off the island.
Yeah.
And then I came back
Yeah.
and I
And we
was
went for
in
lunch,
the,
didn't we?
yeah, and I was in the gym, and all of a sudden it rained. It was the first rain we hadn't seen rain in over a month. And it was so interesting because the rain broke out and everyone was so overjoyed.
Yeah,
It was
everyone was
like,
cheering. Yeah.
rain,
Yeah.
finally rain. And it's just the heaviness of the air just broke, and it was like, okay,
But then
breathing
it
again.
didn't stop raining.
Sorry?
Then after that, I don't think it stopped raining. Like once the weather
Yeah.
switched in Koh Phangan, it was kind of like that then for the rest. Because I was there. So once we'd finished the yoga teacher training, I stayed for another week.
Yes.
Yeah, you went to Koh Tao, came back. Did you go to Khao Sok?
I did afterwards on the way
Yeah.
away to Chiang Mai,
Yeah.
and then we met up again in Chiang
Oh,
Mai, but
yeah,
we can
up
talk
in
about that
Bangkok.
next
Yeah,
time.
we can talk about that next time. So yeah, I mean, overall that last week there were lots of highs, lots of lows. It was such an experience that it's really hard to articulate and put that into words because it was so amazing.
It was. And I think what was really beautiful as well is to see everyone's personalities shine through their practicum, so their teaching. And everyone had their different style. Everyone did pick a theme that was very true to them. And I think it's really beautiful when you create something, and when you create that class, it's your creation, it's yourself. And so seeing 25 of us or so coming to the mat and delivering that was a very special thing, which we would not experience probably ever again. And so I think that made it amazing. And I loved also, it was early mornings, but we were in that beach, Charlotte, and how
that was so
beautiful was the
sunrise.
light.
Yeah.
We'd be teaching and the sun would rise, and it was
The
just
fishermen
so
out
beautiful.
to sea, and you had the noises of the sea. Like, yeah, it was amazing. Oh, the memories.
Yeah, magical.
Yeah, it was. I would recommend it to anyone. One Yoga was like amazing the whole way through.
Yeah. We're like mentioning them so much.
Yeah, I would. And again, it's like I'd love to do it again, but also it was such an amazing experience. I think we need to kind of just leave it at that.
I think we need to leave it at that. And I was actually saying this to someone yesterday. I was like, I'm not sure I would want to go back to Koh Phangan. I want to like just leave it as that memory.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to go back there.
No, definitely not yet.
No. But yeah, it was life-changing.
Life-changing.
Oh, look at us now. Anyway, that's enough for this episode. What are we going to talk about next time?
I think we should be talking about, as you say, assimilating. So how we felt as we kept on traveling, both of us, and then starting to integrate the practice. So we're both teaching now, and I think how did we both get to the point where we started teaching, and then we can talk about that experience and that journey.
Okay, amazing, guys. Lots to look forward to then. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time.